because you could go anywhere and it seemed like there was any violence at all like it is today.
Were the cars as practical as they are now?
Well, there weren't too many cars, honey. Most of them were horse and wagons. They brought the vegetables in. They had the nice buggies. You went in a buggy, and there's just very few cars. But later years, as I grew up, the cars, they got more people were able to buy automobiles and made it much nicer. You could go to Galveston anytime you wanted then and come back. As it was, you had to wait for the morning special to go, and you had to stay all day and wait for the special to come back at night. Of course, that was kind of fun when you're a little bitty kid because you got to eat ice cream and things in Galveston like that and go out for lunch. Well, you didn't do that in Hitchcock.
What kind of clothes did y'all wear back then?
Well, they are about the same as they are today. The dresses were a little longer. There was no shorts. I never wore a pair of shorts in my life when I was a little girl. They didn't have shorts and things like that. It was all skirts and blouses and little gingham dresses. But they were pretty. Our moms made them and did all the sewing. There was no ready-made clothes. It was all handmade at home.
In your time, what was Jack Brooks Park and kind of the whole neighborhood down there like?
Well, honey, there was no Jack Brooks Park. That was all open space until cattle range, where they run cattle until the government bought that and put the Camp Wallace there. Before that time, it was just an open range for cattle. There was nothing there.
What kind of music did you have?
Well, we had guitars. They played the guitars, and we had our records and mandolins and things like that. It's nothing like it was today.
What about the entertainment?
Well, like I said, we had our little community club. We went to Sunday school. We had neighborhood little parties, and the group would get together and play baseball. Somebody would have a birthday, and we'd have a little birthday party for them. It wasn't anything, like you all have today. You all have everything, which is good, and I'm glad and happy for you.
How come the ladies or girls always had to wear dresses?
Well, because it wasn't ladylike to wear pants, honey, and they didn't have pants. You had to wear your dresses. You never wore, I didn't wear slacks until I was grown, got married. They just didn't wear them, slacks then.
Who were your heroes back then?
Oh my goodness. I guess the singers, they had a few singers that you kind of worship, movie stars, mostly movie stars. You'd buy the movie magazines and there'd be someone that you'd, admire, and that probably was our ones that we worship.
Back then, were the men allowed to see the ladies' knees and ankles?
Oh no, that was a no-no. You couldn't see you couldn't wear shorts. And everybody wore hose. You never went bare-legged, like you do, like you can now. They weren't allowed anything like that. You had to be very ladylike, honey. But we had fun at school. We had little baseball teams. And the boys would send, if he liked you this year, he'd send you get all the Valentines. Next year he didn't care for you. Somebody else got all the Valentines.
How was it farming back then?
Well, it was very good, honey. We had lots of good farms here in Hitchcock. They grew lots of beautiful vegetables and brought them to town, and they shipped them in barrels. They packed them with ice and shipped them all over the country. It was a very, very fine farming town. It was one of the best in this part of the country.
What kind of vegetables did y'all farm?
Oh, everything. They had turnips and carrots and lettuce, tomatoes and onions and peas, and just about every vegetable, cauliflower.
Did you have much farming back then?
Yes, had lots of farming. That's the way most of the people in Hitchcock made their living, by having farms and shipping them, bringing them to the produce house, and then they shipped them in big barrels with crushed ice all around them. And that was most everybody. Very few people had out-of-town jobs. My father did, because we moved from Galveston when I was 6, and he had a job there, and he went back and forth every day to work. But most of the people there, their livelihood was from farming here in Hitchcock.
Well, if there ain't any more questions, we'd like to thank you for coming.
Well, you're welcome, darling. It's a pleasure for me to be here.
Who were some of the first settlers?
Well, some of the first settlers here were, well, like the Hitchcocks. They started the depot, built the depot, gave the land for the railroad to go through. And the Tackler family, and the Reitmeyer family, and lots of the families here were Italians. The Shallow family, the Matranga family, the Brett family. There were lots of old-timers here that lived here in Hitchcock when I moved here.
Thank you for coming here and talking to us.
You're welcome, honey. I'm happy to do it.